Shalom, shalom, friends and family. Okay, I'm now covering the third commandment. Okay, the third commandment. In as many days as we build our way, or count our way down actually, toward Shavuot here in the year 2020. The third commandment is a big one as well, and it has to do with idolatry and the issue of idolatry with our ancestors back in the wilderness, and in some cases even still to today. So what is the third commandment? The third commandment you will find in the book called Shemot, or Exodus, in chapter 20. Okay, so Exodus chapter 20, starting at verse 4. It reads as follows: Lo ta'aseh lecha fesel b'chol tmuna asher b'shamayim mima'al v'asher ba'aretz mitachat ve'asher b'mayim mitachat la'aretz. So, lo ta'aseh lecha fesel. All right, so, lo ta'aseh, do not create, lecha, for yourself, fesel, an idol, okay? Whether it be an image that's in the sky of something that's in the heavens, or something that flies in the heavens, something that's in the earth that's under the heavens, or something that's in the water that can be found under the earth. Do not make an object of devotion, okay? Just like the second commandment, brief recap, the second commandment was Lo yeh lecha Elohim acharim. What's important about this is the language, is the way the wording is used. If you'll notice, in the second commandment, when he says Lo yeh lecha Elohim acharim, there should not be another Elohim before you. He says Lo yeh lecha, to you singular. You singular should not have another Elohim before me. Now, if you're thinking along the lines of proper Hebrew grammar, you would be looking for or expecting the use of the word lachem, meaning you plural. Because remember, this is Moshe, of course, hearing from Yehovah, but he also has to speak this out to the people. But even when they're spoken out to the people, they still hear the singular form. Why is that important to note? Well, this is important to note because even though an entire broad, vast number of our ancestors are being spoken to, the commandments are so personal and so pointed and directed that the Most High chose to have them spoken in the singular form, as if it's to each and every individual. To each and every individual. I think that's very important to point out, and it's something that is typically missed. Just like in the second commandment, Lo yeh lecha Elohim acharim al panai, don't have another Elohim before my face. And the third commandment, Lo ta'aseh lecha fesel, don't you make for yourself an image, okay? Well, it's funny that when Moshe is being given these broad concepts, or these 10 commandments, if you would, as this was going on, down below, our ancestors were doing the fool at the bottom of the mountain, and they had built for themselves a god. They built for themselves one already. They hemmed Aaron up and they asked him, or well, literally it demands, because the text says, Vayikahal, and the people ganged up on Aharon, and they told him basically, hey, make for us God. Make us the God that brought us out of the land of Egypt. Okay, for those that won't study the Hebrew language, like the seminary goers and a lot of people who want to rely on these faulty English translations, you notice that in some translations it says, make for us gods. It only says, make for us Elohim, the plural word. So as you know, the Hebrew word for face is panim. Panim. And it's plural as well. But you and I literally only have one face. Now, our mood can determine what's on our heart. Our mood can determine what our face will display. You can read different emotions in the face of an individual, but it's still the same one face nonetheless. Mayim, the Hebrew word for water, is plural. Who do you know that says, hey, pour me a cup of waters? It's already in the plural form. Okay, so the sin of the golden calf was a huge one. And in some circles, it's thought that this single act is what brought about the necessity of the priesthood from the standpoint of sacrificing for sins. Because remember, Yahuwah said that he never wanted the blood of bulls and of goats. This was not his plan. Idolatry is a problem. It was a problem back then for our ancestors, and it's a problem for us now. What's your idol? Is it your job that offers you time and a half on Shabbat and you give in? Is it that shiny car that you just can't keep your hands off of, that you can't stop rubbing on and polishing up? Is it something, fellow men, that might be hiding in the video section of your cell phone? It's a lot to think about. For you sisters, Achayot, what about for you? Is it that desire to keep up with your neighbor and her husband, and being upset and having to keep up with them and coveting the things that they have? Everyone has a vice. Even Shaul, the Apostle Paul, as he's known, equated idolatry to the same as sexual immorality. Whatever thing it is that occupies and dominates your mind and your time and keeps your mind away from our Creator is, in fact, an idol. So, again, I want to keep these videos nice, short, and sweet. We covered the third commandment in as many days, and that commandment is Lo ta'aseh lecha fesed. Don't make for yourself a graven image. Shabbat Shalom to everyone out there. I've been enjoying checking in on some of these channels and some of these live chats with some really cool people having a good time. And I'm beginning to meet more people, little bits at a time, and really enjoying a lot of information and presentations that a lot of people are putting up on their channels. So it's a blessing to know that we all have a greater extended family out there. Okay, so as always, to the scattered, the royal house of Judah, in the four corners of the earth, Achim v'achayot sheli, mishpacha hagdola sheli. Blessings to you all. Peace, love, ahava, v'shalom.